Hello and welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Tuesday, the 5th of January 2021. I hope you made it through the 2020 like I made it through 2020. Apparently my senility is kicking in, but it's Tuesday. We're going to talk about some interesting things coming up here in just a minute. Andy Hall is going to be joining me. We're going to talk about some politics. I just want to let you guys know, and you know what? We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm going to run Wild Bill because for some of you guys, this may be the last time you ever get to see Wild Bill. So, unless you go follow Wild Bill or something. But here we go. Peep this, my homie. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, two snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man, you're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on? Count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care. Peace. Fucking views on that other. Here we are. All right. It's got us at 3 people. There we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Good morning, Andy. Did you enjoy your little vacation?
I did enjoy my vacation, but Chris, over here in the acid mines of comedy, there's never any real rest going on. There's always something going on. Either I'm blogging or I'm working on my channel, talking to people, doing crazy stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. Good. Glad to hear it. I hope everybody out there in the damn nation had a good Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, Blessed Solstice. If you missed the show yesterday, I hope you all had a great time. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. Some of the news we've got is that today is going to be the last, at least for a while, show of the Daily Atheist Morning Show. I'm not going to do it anymore for a while. It's just one of those things. I could go into the metrics of how, I had guests, it didn't grow. I didn't have guests, it didn't grow. I had politics, it didn't grow. I didn't have politics, it didn't grow. It's just too much work. I want to do other things. I want to do other stuff. So today is the last day of the Daily Atheist Morning Show. We're not going to talk about atheism stuff. We're going to talk about politics because there's something really big going on in the politics. Tomorrow, Andy and I may actually get up and we may do a morning show, but it won't be on this channel. It won't be on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It'll be on the Chris Mallard Show and on Andy's channel if he wants to stream it over on his channel. We were bouncing these thoughts around this morning before the show, how things are going to work. But it's not going to be religion. It's going to be all Chris Mallard, atheists, or not atheists, but left-wing political nutbaggery over there. No more religion. So that's kind of the thing, kind of stepping out of the atheist community and just doing political nutbaggery.
I remember that there was a point that you wanted to do politics with no atheism, and then sometimes atheism with no politics. And I have to tell you, in the United States of America, it's difficult to disentangle the two of them.
That's true. Very true. And we may on the other show occasionally talk about things, especially whenever religious people en masse or a large religious figure decides they want to do something political and they want to try to, hurt everybody in our country or oppress them through politics. It's one thing whenever they want to make their own parishioners bow and kowtow to them. But whenever they start doing it in the political world, that's whenever they need to be stopped. So that we'll address that over there.
Indeed, indeed.
In theory.
Well, I can tell you that one way or the other, I will be probably streaming into the void, either on my own channel or with you, Chris, on your channel, and streaming over to my channel. One way or the other. Yeah. I've gotten into the habit of doing this thing at 9:00 in the morning. My brain just wakes me up.
Me too.
Regardless.
Yeah.
In the morning. And it turns out that now that, there's no job, I haven't worked for months. My sleep cycles have become untethered.
Me too.
They've just become untethered. So now, I've been streaming at like 10:30 on Sunday nights and up until 2:00 in the morning on Monday mornings. And then, so my sleep patterns are all over the place. So I'm opening up the windows of when I stream on my channel.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, I was always like a stay up until like 2 a.m. and sleep until 9. But now it's like I go to bed at 9 at night and I get up at 3 or 4 in the morning, rarely past 4:30, and then I'll nap somewhere between 11 and 1 or 2, and I get up at somewhere between 1 or 5. It just drives me crazy. I'm just tore up. My sleep cycle is trash.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
So to that end, we've been talking about this. The one thing though, I did enjoy doing this show back whenever we were knocking on the politics on the regulars. Whenever we kind of switched back to trying to do atheism and religion, that I was like, I just get up, but was doing, and then with all the craziness going on in the politics right now, it's just crazy. So the thoughts going on the table for everybody who are watching, the thoughts that Andy and I were talking about before the show and during the show, is that right now we're considering continuing out at least the rest of this week as the politics just goes crazy in the morning, doing morning shows over on the Chris Mallard channel. So if you want to see the rest of that, we're at least probably going to do that there. We may even start doing some kind of show in the evening.
It's double death overtime, and
yes.
We've been talking about double death overtime since the election, because as we have been talking about, just because the election occurred doesn't mean the contest is over, because we live in this kind of bizarro political world. So the electoral vote should be certified by Congress tomorrow.
In theory.
In theory, that's the last hurdle before January 20th, which is Inauguration Day. Should be. I have to tell you, one of the things that drives my girlfriend crazy about me personally is that whenever she says something like, oh, it's going to be over after tomorrow, or he won't be president, it's like, probably. More than likely.
Right. Yeah. You always think it's going to end. This nightmare will end. Someone will shake me and I'll wake up. But no. But, now he's putting pressure. First, Pence was like a rock. And now Pence is starting to waver.
Yeah.
And he's starting to talk about embracing these theories. He's going to make sure every vote was counted, or... so what's going to happen today? Today we've got Georgia going on, and Georgia is going to determine what happens in the Senate. The amazing Super Chris, prognosticate the Dems are going to take Georgia. I hope I'm not sad. I don't want to be sad-faced tomorrow, but that's what I prognosticate. That's happening today. Tomorrow we get to see what happens with Pence and the certification in the Electoral College and all that stuff.
Well, I'm looking at the 538 polls right now, and good news, bad news. You want to hear the good news or the bad news?
Let's do bad news first.
It's all within the margin of error. It's all within.
I don't know how to take that.
The margin of error. And for those of you who are acquainted with the margin of error, that means basically, and there are numbers here, but they're fuzzy numbers. And I mean, that's what I'm seeing here. I'm looking at the 538, the graphs for the two Senate races, and the Dems are both ahead officially in Georgia, but they are both ahead in the margin of error for the polls. So that's the good news, bad news situation.
Of course. Yeah, I would not be surprised if it fails, if one of them loses, would not surprise me. This Loeffler, have you heard about Loeffler lady? This Loeffler lady, she's doing this last minute dig to jump on Trump's coattails, and she's not going to certify. She's saying now that she's not going to certify tomorrow in the hopes that she'll get those voters down there, those Trump voters, to go down there and vote for her because she's standing up for blah, 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 blah. Will that work? I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know.
It's, I will give you, if we're going to talk about good news, right? It's something you can, if there was like a bar of soap called Schadenfreude that you want to lather yourself up on. I don't know if you heard about this, Chris, but the Proud Boys, I'm going to read this, the name of the article here on CNN. Proud Boys leader arrested for allegedly burning Black Lives Matter banner at DC church. Have you heard about this?
Only briefly. No, fill us in, please.
So, Calais, good news. The leader of Proud Boys, Enrique Torrio, was arrested Monday in Washington, D.C. for allegedly burning a Black Lives Matter banner taken from a black church last month during protests in the city after the, quote, "Stop the Steal," unquote, rally. Law enforcement official told CNN that the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department charged Torrio of Miami with destruction of property related to a banner that was burned on December 12th outside of a church in Northwest D.C. It turns out that this idiot, the Proud Boys leader, he, of course, filmed himself, promoted it on social media, put it on social media. And not only did he get arrested or charged with this crime, he also is charged with being possession of firearm magazines. So they're two high-capacity firearm magazines, which I guess is illegal. And so he's being charged with that along with destruction of property. So, hey, he got arrested.
Yeah. It
just happened to coincide or neatly come close to the Proud Boys March on tomorrow. So that's nice. That's a little bit of Schadenfreude that you can enjoy this morning, my friends.
That's good. I saw a picture of the guy, and he's just one of those people. I don't know. I don't know anything about him outside of the fact that he's like a little brown shirt. Okay, that's all I know about the guy. But beyond that, I mean, just every time he's one of those people. Someday I'm going to be walking out of a restaurant and somebody's going to kick my ass going, really? But he's one of those people who just looks like he smells bad. Every photograph I see of this guy, he looks dirty. Like dude needs a bath. Like he just looks like he smells bad. There's an odor coming from his image. I'm just saying.
You're spot on with this. There seems to be some general types of people in the Proud Boys, and I'm going to use this term. It's going to be a little edgy, but one are the unfuckables.
Okay.
Those Proud Boys who are either incels or lifelong, in that category. Now, and then there are the people, as you said, Chris, are the smelly ones. Are the smelly ones. Now you're going to say to me, but Andy Hall, isn't there an overlap on the Venn diagram of these unfuckables with the smelly ones? Sure there is, Chris. But there are definitely people who just reek and smell and have the groin cheese and all that other stuff that aren't somehow able to get laid. And then there are people who just cannot get laid whatsoever.
Very true on all counts. Yes, kind of, and I don't know where. I agree with everything Andy just said, for the record. But kind of where I was going was he looks like one of those people who fresh out the shower, gets dressed, walks out, looks like he smells bad. I mean, like, just, I don't know. It's just every time I see the guy, he looks. So, anyway, I'm good for us, though. I noticed that there's also seems to be some pushback from the police against the Proud Boys, and the Proud Boys are going from back the blue to fuck the blue very quickly. Yeah. Have you noticed that? Yeah. That's kind of funny.
Well, it's almost as if the entire basis of Trump and Trump supporters is hypocrisy. If you want to look at the cornerstone, it is hypocrisy. So it's all transactional, right? Every single one of their relationships is transactional. There's no real loyalty at all. It's just furthering their own gain, short-term gains too. That's their short-term goals. That is what they are interested in.
Yeah, true enough. Well, there's supposed to be some activity and fun times going on today in Washington, D.C. and tomorrow in Washington. No. Is it what? Yeah, today's got Washington and...
Well, today's Georgia.
Tomorrow has... Yes, but that's what it is. Today's primarily Georgia. There was that one attorney general saying something, talking all big about how they would arrest Trump given the opportunity. Did you hear about that? I'd like to see that. That'd be great.
Well, people, Trump getting arrested, you ask yourself, oh, by the way, I just want to point out to everyone, yes, I did predict like 3 months ago that Trump would not be president come March or so. I'm actually a little concerned that I might be wrong. I still think he's going to leave office.
Okay.
On January 20th. Or maybe even a little later. We should actually think about this too, is that, January 20th may not be a hard date. That's
true. I mean, guys doing everything. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just because Inauguration Day is the 20th doesn't necessarily mean Donald J. Trump is going to be leaving the White House on the 20th.
That's true. I got to tell you, I have prayed. I have prayed on many a morning to dear baby Jesus that he will hang on and they will have to drag his ass out kicking and screaming, and then we get to watch it. We could end world hunger if we would put that on pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, sometimes I'm just, just a thought. Yeah, so there's that. But there's also the fact that, and you and I talked about this, Andy, what happens if a good portion of conservatives turn with this big fish when he turns? And now we're seeing it happen. We are seeing it. Remember, there was 12 the day before yesterday. 12, the traitor is 12. Yesterday became the traitor is 13 when Loeffler got on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Sure. So it would be, so Lee Spanner, in the, I hope I'm saying your name right, Lee, is that he'll be leaving January 20th per the Constitution. I would like to think that too. And more than likely he will, though I think that he would want to, build up as much drama as possible and do whatever he can to stay in as long as he can.
Yeah.
And
he'll hurt as many people as he can. He doesn't seem to care about who he hurts or any of those things. This guy is just, and I have totally stolen this from you. I have. Andy said it first. That's the first place I heard it from. And I was like, oh, man. But this man has totally, he's going mad baby every day. All the way. He's taking everything he can. And nobody seems to be willing to stop him. And by nobody, I mean the conservatives in charge of the Senate. Now, what happens if today we get balance in the Senate plus Kamala Harris being the tip to that balance? Will it be possible for us to actually start doing things against Trump, remove him from office, and do things? Will that happen? I don't know. But I'm keen to find out.
There is some logic to doing a scorched earth campaign like Trump is doing.
Right.
and or the idea about not retreating at all and just holding on to every bit of piece of ground that he can. And yeah, there's a World War II reference somewhere about Stalin and Hitler doing the same thing, about making their troops, quote unquote, never retreat unless never surrender. You will die where you are. Those were the orders given by both sides on the Eastern Front. So there is some rationale for Trump's, considering that he's not going to be the one who's going to die on while, because he's
Andy, don't
putting up this
talk like
kind of.
that.
I know. He might ruin other people's careers, but this is also once again a ploy for him to keep as much control over the Republican Party as he can, and to maintain order post January 20th, and for him to stay in charge, because there's a chance that the old school Republicans come back and take charge of the party again, and that's something he does not want.
No,
he being
that's true.
Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Well, there's this whole deal that the Conservative Party, a good hunk of the Conservative Party, a significant portion of the Conservative Party, are these now Tea Partiers that we would used to think of as the fringe. They were the fringe of the Tea Party or of the GOP back during the Obama years. They were the fringe. But during the Obama years, they were whipped up by Fox News and all these people and racism and throughout this thing. And they got a majority. And they eventually overwhelmed what we thought of as the GOP. The GOP is no longer there. The GOP is a narrow minority of people like Steve Schmidt and Mitt Romney who sit over there and refuse to play these games with the conservatives, with the modern day GOP or Tea Party conservatives. And that's what's happened. The Tea Party has just eaten up completely what we had of the GOP. So we're literally being led by one of the craziest political parties that we've ever had. And we see the results. We're officially over 300,000, right, Andy?
Oh,
it was
over,
probably closer to 400 now.
Yep. And to tell you the truth, I mean, when I think about Trump's actions right now, I still think that if I were Donald J. Trump, I would be doing something similar to what he is doing. Using his playbook, just causing because once again, his main enemy is order. His main enemy are democratic norms, and the more that he can disrupt democratic norms, set a precedence for breaking democratic norms, that helps brand Trump. Just not for him, but for his children going down the road.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a long haul. The wife and I were talking. She was asking me about this move from no longer doing the Daily Atheist Morning Show and moving on to just Chris Mallard political stuff. And she's like, "Are you sure? Because after the thing, but no, we're going to have for years to come. There's no way this is going to end quickly. There's going to be no way." Yeah, it's going to go on for years and years. Trump Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka Trump, the investigations, the lies, the hypocrisy, the right wing going nuts trying to defend them. And that's kind of like the best case scenario.
Yeah. There is no doubt that just because we might have dodged this bullet, and once again, it's important to point out the reason why Trump isn't getting a second term has nothing to do with Joe Biden.
No.
Period.
No, right.
It has everything to do with COVID and the fact that Donald J. Trump did not get a second stimulus bill. It did not give people enough money because his polls were doing well up until the time people weren't getting more money from the government. Mm-hmm. Yes, things were bad, but they weren't bad enough for Trump to lose the election. So it is ridiculous and absurd. I just cannot even sometimes.
It's funny you say that because Trump was all mute and silent on giving people money. And then they were going for $600, and like the last minute, at which he could hurt the most people without actually failing in his duties.
Yeah. Once again, I hold a minority opinion about Donald J. Trump, and I know it. I was watching Bo of the Fifth Column or something like that, who's completely wrong on Trump too, by the way. But that's a whole nother freaking topic. Trump isn't as stupid as people think he is. He's stupid, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But, he thought he was going to lose the 2016 election. He was ready to go on vacation. He knew about how bad COVID was when he told that to Bob Woodward, So is he completely oblivious to what's going on? Absolutely not. So Trump knew, he has a simple playbook, and that is creating chaos. And that's the reason why he did the thing that he did with the $2,000. He doesn't care if everyday Americans get $2,000 from the government. What he cares about is waging war within the Republican Party, right? And against the Democrats. It is him against everyone. And he's so desperate right now to hold on to as much power as possible. He's just amping up crazy stuff. He's just amping it up as much as he can.
Yep. And that's the whole deal. Before, he didn't care. He was on mute, didn't say a word about that money. And now he's in a bind, and he needs people on his side. He needs the populace on his side. So his answer to everything is to just buy them off. So now he's up to 2,000, and it's just, but people are hurt while all these games are going on. Nakasuchi, I appreciate him being on the damn show for a while there. He's awesome. There was nothing. I just wanted to change the show up. He was going through some significant financial problems, I believe, because of the games these people were playing. And thankfully, eventually, that it got handled and he got the unemployment he needed, etc. But, it's shameful, the hurt that these people put other people through just for parlor tricks for politics.
I had cheap plug for my show, for my channel. I had the Satanic Chef on. Yes, the Satanic Chef, real person, and he was on my channel on 10:30, last Sunday night, and he's been out of work since the pandemic started because his restaurant's been shut down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what is it, like 25% of them? I forget the statistics off the top of my head. 25% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. It's probably higher than that, to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. But for those people, this has been a real disaster in terms of becoming bankrupt, in terms of going into debt, in terms of not going to the doctor. Dude, I haven't been sick, but I know that I've been avoiding going into the doctor's office just for my physical. And that's how crazy it's been. It's just been, I feel for people who are in a rougher position than I am.
Right. And that's why today is so important down in Georgia. And we need to take the Senate because the conservatives are willing to starve the people. Mitch McConnell and the GOP are willing to starve the people in order to get the pork into the bill that they want. He wants to protect businesses from being able to get sued if their employees get COVID. There's other protections he wants to give businesses, obviously, but that's one of the ones that stick out,
So we should really just be honest about what people's incentives are. What are their goals? So when I was saying that Donald J. Trump's incentive is to wage war against all who are against Donald Trump. So he's always trying to dominate the Republican Party. He's always trying to beat the Democrats, right? Those are his goals. What the Republicans are doing, what the Republican leadership is doing, whether they realize it or not, is to undermine democracy and to create a third world country, which they've been able to do quite well since the 80s. Mm-hmm. It is because when you destroy government, you have more powerful churches and you have more powerful oligarchs. And that's so Mitch McConnell, when you think about his goals, which is destroying the federal government, making sure the federal government doesn't get enough money to operate under, he's doing exactly what he should be doing too for his rules. It's horrible. It's disgusting. But that makes perfect sense too, because Mitch McConnell, mainline everyday Republicans do not want a functioning federal government. And that goes back to the Voting Rights Act.
Right.
That's why they always cry out about states' rights. They hate the federal government because a strong federal government means a regulated business environment. And they hate that. It's as simple as that.
One of the things that you mentioned, I think states' rights is interesting. Today, Trump's going to be in Georgia, and there's a prosecutor or somebody down there talking about that if they get the opportunity, they would arrest Trump for something he's done, probably the phone call, if I remember right. And I was thinking about that earlier, postulating and pondering about it. And I was thinking, well, don't states have their rights? That's what they
Yeah.
wanted. And conservatives, Trump, would be supreme mentally minded towards states' rights up until the point he gets arrested, I guess.
I'm not a constitutional scholar, nor do I play one on TV.
Right.
Yeah, I did hear the theory that if Trump was going to go into Georgia, then he has broken several state laws doing what he did.
Yep.
It would be pretty cheeky for a state governor for a government to try something like that. I don't, especially in Georgia, I don't see that happening.
Right.
And there's this little thing in the Constitution called the Supremacy Clause, which means the Constitution, overrides everything else, all the state laws. So I don't know what kind of protection that gives the president of the United States, even if he is proven to have broken state laws. If nothing else, we have learned in the last 4 years is that the presidency is imperial. We have an imperial presidency, which is basically untethered to laws.
Yep. Well, can you imagine how that would go down? Do you go down with a couple of sheriffs? Because you've got the entire Secret Service is going to be between. So now, so do you go, okay, wait. The entire Secret Service is going to be there. So maybe we should take 50 armed people. How does that go down? Does that turn into a political show? Dear Mr. President, I and this sheriff person are here to arrest you. No, you're not going to go. Okay, we'll just let you know you should be arrested. And then they turn around and go away as a political show. Or do they really try to muscle up? They don't do nothing. Yeah. It's just all talk. It dies in the brain.
I have said from 2016 on that if things get really bad, someone's going to end up with a bullet in their head. From all of the Sopranos or from any of the Boston area, from The Town or from The Departed. It was either Donald Trump gets shot, but now, with Joe Biden being afraid of being assassinated by his own Secret Service, right? We all know about that.
I got to make a video about that.
About how Biden is asking people to get out of his detail because they're a little bit too pro-Trump. He's afraid of getting shot in the head. He's afraid of something happening to him. So, we're still really not out of the dark on this. And up until the time that I'm not even going to go with January 20th anymore, up until the time that Biden is fully in office, because I'm going to bring it back to Catholicism. For all of you historical scholars out there, or you atheists who realize about the Great Schism, about how there were 3 or 4 popes popping around at any one time, right? There was a point that there was a pope in Rome, a pope in Avignon, so I'm not saying that we could have multiple presidents. But what I'm saying is that we could have multiple presidents or people claiming to the presidency at the same time. That's the kind of bizarro world that we could be looking at on January 21st. Is just as medieval Europe for a short period of time had multiple popes, we could have, or multiple people claiming to be pope. We could have 2 people who are saying that they are president of the United States.
Wowzers. I wrote that down. I need to make a show about that. A short. Yeah, because that could happen. And we also had 2 presidents before. There have been times where at least the land occupied by the United States has had more than one president.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Now, we've talked about it. It's craziness. I mentioned one time, what would it take for, if you took the governor and Louisiana and Texas and all these states, if they decided to secede, and why wouldn't they? Oh, that's crazy talk. They would never do that. That's crazy. Just like it's crazy that Trump would never talk about arresting his political opponents. The GOP would never turn like fish to support Trump in a political overthrow of our democracy right in front of God and everybody.
So let's play this out for a minute. Let's play this out for a minute. Let's say that major American oligarchs support Donald J. Trump after January 20th. Okay. Let's say that those oligarchs are the ones who pay for the re-election campaigns for Republican senators, Republicans, governors, state senators, state representatives, all the way down. What kind of incentive do the Republicans have of being loyal to Donald J. Trump then versus being loyal to the government in Washington, D.C.? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's clear incentives that they would be more willing to listen to Donald J. Trump than
Yeah.
to Joe Biden, or to
That's right.
obey the lawful orders from coming out of Washington, D.C.
Very true. Yep. Some of them could stand to lose their own positions down the road, and be. I think that's part of the reason why they're doing it now.
You
They're
heard it
stepping
here,
up
folks.
now.
Multiple
did.
presidents. We're going to have multiple presidents.
I'm going to clip that, Andy. I'm clipping it. Here we go. Uh-oh, my thing went boom. It did it again. There's something wrong. Am I hitting the wrong button? Nope, that's the right button. Anyway, I divided by 0. People, the world is going to end. I'm tired of dealing with those technical ones. Yeah, must have. That's what the computer sound is like. Anyway, yeah, so now, though, what we have is things like the Secret Service being divided up because there are literally Trump loyalists. Did we have Obama loyalists who we were afraid we couldn't trust them around Donald Trump? Did that happen? I mean, no, Trump did that. He filtered them on his own, people on his own.
Yeah. Trump, like any other smart dictator, or just like any other dictator, you always want to have people personally loyal to you around you. So you want your own Praetorian Guards. You want your own clique. Right. So that's what Donald Trump has done, of course. And this is the problem, is that Biden will be inheriting a lot of those people. And that's why he's like, no, I can't. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah, yeah. Some of them, my understanding, have been quite vocal about supporting Trump. And, that's kind of worrisome. We already have people like who are willing to do. You heard about the pharmacist, right? A pharmacist. Andy, you heard about it. I didn't have to go, right? The pharmacist. Now, Andy, you probably, do you have an article about that you could...
I'm looking it up right now. Do some patter.
Okay.
Do some...
I will patter, because this guy, I think about who you think of smart. Listen, I have got a daughter. My daughter is the smartest person, I think, just like raw brain smart. Like you put her, just brilliant, smart. She's a doctor of pharmacy. She has, I think, 2 master's degrees and all this stuff. She's wily coyote smart. You just never think of pharmacists as being woo peddlers. But hey, well, maybe I don't know. Science. There's so much science that goes into it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's like what Sam Harris says about people who believe in conspiracy theories, or just about the human brain in general. It's like, for those of us who remember card catalogs, or maybe just a regular bureau, right? You have these little drawers, and sometimes you just pull a drawer open and you say, wow, that's crazy. Those are crazy thoughts. That's just maybe, while you have other areas that aren't crazy. So this... And I was surprised. That this pharmacist is from Wisconsin and not from Florida, to tell you the truth, since Florida seems to be the epicenter of insanity.
Right.
But it's a brave new world here.
Yeah, true.
In 2021, which seems oddly reminiscent of 2020. Yeah. Is that heresy? I think that might be heresy for me to say 2021 seems a lot like 2020. Right. But let me continue with the story about the pharmacist.
Okay, pharmacist.
So this is from NBC News. The name of the article is Wisconsin. Hey, Chris, you know what I'm doing right now when I'm talking to you?
Huh?
I'm going to be passive aggressive for a minute. I'm citing my sources and quoting them.
Hey, none of that shit on this channel. What the hell?
And I'm not being passive aggressive about people.
Go ahead.
Not quoting original sources or anything like that. So let me continue. Wisconsin pharmacist accused of trying to destroy COVID-19 is, quote, conspiracy theorist, authorities say. Okay, so we're going to put a pin on this for a second. And I just want to know what other conspiracies, because if you believe in a conspiracy theory, you're much more likely to understand, to hold on to other conspiracy theories. So I'm wondering if this guy, if he's like a lizard person guy, if he's a Bigfoot person, if he's like a Loch Ness monster individual. I'm just curious on that point. But to the article, a pharmacist accused of trying to destroy hundreds of doses of coronavirus vaccine is a conspiracy theorist who believed the medication wasn't safe, Wisconsin authorities alleged Monday. The man, Stephen Brandenburg, 46, was held in lieu of $10,000 bond. $10,000 bond. That seems like a pretty small amount for a pharmacist, to tell you the truth. That sounds like chump
Right.
change.
Who just
But
killed off 500 doses of vital medicine for a plague.
yeah. So I'm going to skip down a little bit. Police in Grafton, about 20 miles north of Milwaukee, arrested Brandenburg, a pharmacist with Advocate Aurora Health, on Thursday after 57 vials of the Moderna vaccine appeared to have been spoiled. Police said Brandenburg took the vaccine doses from a refrigerator and left them out for 12 hours, possibly rendering them useless. Each vial can say. So you're thinking to yourself, right?
That's why.
So you're thinking there's 57 vials. Each vial might have been a shot, right? Like one shot. But no. Each vial contained 10 doses. 10 doses. Each vial contained 10 doses. So he destroyed 570 doses worth of the vaccine. Worth about, I don't care about how much it's monetarily worth. I'm concerned about all those people who are going to die now, because, or even if it's just,
potential. There's potential.
Even if it's just one person dying from not getting the vaccine that this guy destroyed, is too much. Is that crazy to say?
No.
I don't think it is. Brandenburg is, quote, an admitted conspiracy theorist, and, quote, told investigators he believed the COVID-19 was not safe for people. It could harm them and change their DNA, unquote. It doesn't change your DNA. It doesn't do that. He admitted it was an intentional act. So, so what are the rules on YouTube about advocating physical violence, Chris? I just want to ask that question right now.
It's hard. It's hard. Here's what I've been telling people. I cannot advocate physical violence. I will not. But you know what I can talk about? I can tell you that as a fellow citizen that your stimulus check of $600 is enough to go to your local hardware and purchase everything you need to buy a guillotine. Or to build the guillotine, to build your own guillotine. $600 stimulus check will help you build your guillotine. Follow me for more life hacks.
Oh, I see what you did there. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yes. So there's that. There is that. It's just one of those things that kind of...
what is absurd is that it's only a $10,000 bond. It's a $10,000 bond. This guy destroyed 570 vials of doses of vaccine during a pandemic where hundreds of thousands of people are dead. And this dude only has a $10,000 bond.
Yeah. These kind of people, he's not catering to what you just said. He's not harmless. A person with a very similar mentality just blew himself up. And can we say it on YouTube's, on the Tube of Views? Can we say a suicide bombing in the United States of America happened? There was a suicide bombing. That's what suicide bombing. A suicide bomber in the United States. And his beliefs were very similar to the gentleman who just spoiled 500 doses, almost 600 doses of medicine. They're not only are these people like these QAnoners, they're dangerous to themselves and dangerous to other people around them.
They're one of the new rules, right? To bite on Mars Style there from his show, Bill Maher Style, is that maybe if you don't believe in science, maybe you shouldn't be handling medicine. Maybe that should be a new rule. If you don't believe in science, then maybe you shouldn't be handling medicine. Right. Crazy idea, I know.
That's right. The wife and I were just last night talking about how there are these pharmacists who will refuse to give you the medicine that your doctor, who's gone through and done all the things and told you, go get this medicine. Sometimes they'll refuse on religious grounds to give people medicine. I'm like, you shouldn't be in that position if you're not ready to help. That's not your job. A pharmacist's job is, oh, wait a second. This medicine, if we mix it with this medicine, will kill you. We can't do that. We will, that's kind of their thing. It's not really their job to go. They've done no examination on this person. They have no idea the comorbidities or why they're getting the medicine they're getting outside of, like anti-pregnancy or abortion pills or, it's like they should have no right.
There was I believe there was a person who was an EMT. and she got, I believe, into trouble for having an OnlyFans account. All right.
I saw that. Yeah.
Got into trouble. So I think, and tell me if I'm wrong on
Isn't
this,
that
audience,
crazy?
that if you're anyone with any amount of power in this country, whether any kind of power over other people, and you're a conspiracy theorist, right? And we're talking about a very concrete definition of conspiracy theorist. Lizard people run the government. There are rape tunnels underneath Hillary Clinton's house. That kind of level, right? Science doesn't work. Global warming isn't real. Well, I guess we would fire like 50% of the population. But in a perfect world, we will fire those people from any. They would be stuck, doing menial labor.
Well, one of those things I've harped on about ever since all this Black Lives Matter came up, because these black people were being killed by the white cops and all that. Well, one of the things that I kind of brought up was, we need to go through the police people that are there now, because the guy who killed George Floyd actually had a record of being a bad cop, of being violent to people. We need to go through their records and go, you know what? This guy's got a record of being a bad cop. This is what the criteria are for a bad cop, and he's been doing it. Okay. And then point B, we should also go through their social media and go, hey, this cop has been right. All right, so we got those two factors. Now, I hate to say this, we should also apply the same type of scrutiny to doctors and nurses and pharmacists and people in sensitive positions who are going to hurt other people. I don't think that's as big a problem, but the things we're talking about.
In times of a crisis,
normally we wouldn't have this, but we got this right-wing craziness going on. I'm sorry.
During a crisis, things need to be regulated a little bit more than what they usually are, right? Emergency situations require emergency procedures. And so, maybe if you're a doctor and you're a QAnon lunatic, maybe you shouldn't be doctoring. Maybe you should just be...
See, why is that crazy to think that? That's great.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's crazy. I think it makes perfect sense.
And that's exactly right. Well, just imagine that the people who died in Waco, the Branch Davidians, just imagine. Now, this is what has happened. It's going to be a little weird, but work with me here, people. The Branch Davidian, what was his name who died? The leader of the Branch Davidian?
Is it
David Koresh? So David Koresh went on to lead his cult, and he won the election. And now there's a plague going through, and he is trying to downplay the plague, partly because he claims that his Jesus is going to protect, or he's Jesus, he's going to protect us. And he has got followers throughout our entire government. We've got them going around flying David Koresh signs and holding David Koresh flags and driving down the road with David Koresh things, and they work as pharmacists. Yeah. Does that not seem like a problem? There's no difference here, or little difference here as we watch going forward. It's a cult. Trump is a cult.
And you would think that if you're a pharmaceutical if you're a healthcare provider, like Aurora Healthcare, the people who hired this lunatic in Wisconsin, you would think they would have an incentive to weed those people out, just so that we're not talking about their healthcare company right now because of something crazy like this.
Well, especially with all of the things going on where you've got this entire political party and the whole evangelicals all calling the science into question, you really would think that you would go through your employees. If you're one of those companies, they're calling the science, the vaccine, and all these things, you would think they would go through their employees and make sure that this doesn't happen. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
One would think.
It makes perfect sense.
So... I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping up, because it's 10 minutes till 9 minutes till. We've got a little bit more to wrap up about for those who don't know to talk about. I think we're probably going to stream tomorrow, or at least see what's going on throughout the rest of the week at this time, but not on this channel anymore. I'm not going to be doing the Daily Atheist Morning Show anymore. I'm going to be doing other stuff. We may not. I'm going to do this because of the really crazy stuff going on in the politics this week. Maybe even the rest of this month, I may continue to do some sort of morning show over on the Chris Mallard Show channel. So if you're following me and you want to keep seeing this, but if you wake up tomorrow and there's no show, go, well, Chris decided to screw it.
Then you should come over to my channel then, because I'll be doing something.
Andy will be doing something, yeah.
Something's going to happen at 9 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're going. Apparently, yeah, I've got my tech gremlins are working over here. So that's kind of the thing. We're gonna be doing that, and I'm not gonna be doing this no more. I'm gonna figure out what's gonna be happening with the Chris Mallard Show channel. I'm moving away from atheism. I'm stepping out of the atheist community as a person. I'm just gonna go be me somewhere else, and I'm gonna do liberal progressive nutbaggery somewhere else. It may be scripted shows. I'm enjoying the scripted shows. For those who don't know, I dropped a single TikTok video and had more views in 2 days than all of my damn show, everything, views, comments, hearts. I mean, it's just so much more over there, the work, so I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I ain't going to be doing it here. So not on the damn show. If you want to follow me on other places, and we'll see. Andy and I have threatened, and I don't know. We'll just see what happens. We may do something in the evening this week, like at 7 p.m. Eastern, because of the things that are going on in politics today. So we'll see what happens. I just wanted to throw all that out there and let everybody know that that's what's going on. I'm not really able to keep up with the thing now. I'm going to keep the Daily Atheist Morning Show channel. And I'm just letting people know out there, I may be open to letting other people run a channel on it and do Daily Atheist Mornings. I'm just tired of doing it myself. I'm going to go do other things. I've built the channel. It's monetized. It's got the thing. I'd be willing to work out with other content creators who wanted to do and continue using this as a voice for the atheist community. I'm down for that. If you're up for that and you're a content creator out there and know one of them out there that wants to do it, get with me and we'll work on something and we'll figure out something possibly. Otherwise, I'm just going to go pop. I like doing the scripted channel shows. I'm going to do scripted stuff on the Chris Mallard Show and possibly something live. And it may not even be on YouTube. I may focus on doing TikTok live if I do any live at all. It's just live is a lot of pressure and a lot of work that I'm doing. The scripted shows, I get my voice out. I have something I want to say. I want to tell everybody, hey, look at Donald Trump. Look at this crap he's doing. This is what he's doing. And I've been doing it for a year on the Daily Atheist Morning Show. And I dropped one video on TikTok and more people heard my voice in a day than all the work I've put on over here. So it's hard to focus, people.
Well, that says something about TikTok.
It does. So there was engagement, comments. It's not just random bot views. So it makes doing this really hard. We're going to see how it happens. I'm going to hold this channel. I'm going to keep all the content on here. If you want to come back and watch the show later, you're welcome to. I don't think I'm going to have a goodbye live stream. I'm probably just might drop a video saying, hey, this is what I'm doing later, but otherwise, we'll see what happens. I might start. So keep your eye on the Chris Mallard Show channel. Obviously, go watch Andy's channel and subscribe to this. Turn on the little bell because you don't know when Andy's going to drop some kind of knowledge. But peep over at the Chris Mallard channel, and we'll see what happens from that. Andy, what do you got going on, man?
11 o'clock today, I have John Funk from Reading Funk. We're going to talk about his reading, his book channel, basically, about how he reviews books. He's been talking to authors. I find it interesting because I read stuff. And we're going to be talking all about that. Good.
That's going to be fun. Yeah, John is. I really enjoy John. If you're not subscribed to his channel, go find John Funk, Reading Funk on the YouTubes. He is a lot of fun. Otherwise, I think I'm going to go ahead and run the Wild Bill again for those people. Apparently, the people on the Podbean can't hear me. Right, Tech Gremlin, you're the last Tech Gremlin. Almost. Anyway, so I'm going to run that. You guys will check out my Wild Bill. Shoot me a message on Twitter or Facebook, all you people out there. I miss you. Yeah, y'all will be great. I don't know what's going to happen. We'll find out, but we're not going to be doing this anymore. So y'all have a great day. We will see you maybe somewhere else. I don't know. Later. Hello, and welcome to Shakespeare with a Redneck. What the? I am Wild Bill Wigglestick, and I'll be your handsome host, your gilded guide, your cowboy concierge of Shakespeare. Dude, really? Today on Shakespeare with a Redneck, I'm going to perform the prologue from Romeo and Juliet. Damn it, Bill. Two households, both alike in dignity in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows doth with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Hey, that wasn't half bad. I'm not as dumb as I look. Of course not. You'd be in a coma. Okay, so here's a quick rundown of the situation. Bill, 2 snot-nosed brats ignore the warnings of their learned parents and end up getting 4 people killed. Bill, come on, man, you're always blah, blah, atheist stuff, blah, blah, boring. Say something fun, for goodness sake. What? Particle is a fun word. Bill, particle, particle, particle. Bill, or talk about horses and dogs. People love horses and dogs. Or boobies. Everybody loves boobies. Bill, oh, can I say boobies on YouTube? If you close your eyes, it doesn't count. Talk about boobies then. Okay, everybody loves those cute little blue-footed bastards. It hurts right here. Culture, baby, coming at you. Avoid bringing a plague on both your houses. A plague on both your houses! By hitting that subscribe button, then that little notification bell. And bang that thumbs up button like frisky cousins at a family reunion. Thank you and take care. Peace.
Might be instructive.
Might be helpful.
For you.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you and have a great day.